think it's a way of thinking and a way of working. So what we need is for people who are engaged in this conversation that is aid and development to be aware of the system of power and politics that is all around us. So when we're having conversations with people, when we're talking about projects, when we're talking about partnership and all those other fuzzy words we use in aid and development, we need to think about power, the system, and how politics is going to shape what people actually do. You need to think about the institutions they're in, the ideas they have in their mind, and the incentives that shape the way they behave. And that actually leads you to doing different things, I think.
And what are the expected benefits of a more political approach to development?
Well, I think the reason why we started this network called Thinking and Working Politically is partly coming out of failure. It's recognition that a lot of the things we were doing before weren't working. We had these great projects on paper, which weren't happening on the ground. We found that we'd ignored massively important groups of people, women, people at the bottom of the social structures, excluded groups. And so it's partly recognition of that failure, saying, okay, we need to think about this differently. And out of that has come this discussion about power and politics.
And how much progress do you think that we have made in thinking?
Well, what I see is lots of experiments, some good examples which are happening, but often they're happening in spite of the system. It's because there's an inspired donor or a really good project leader or a really good relationship between a government and civil society and private sector that are making things happen. And we have to get from a situation where good things are happening in spite of all our procedures to where good things are happening because of our procedures, and that's a huge shift.
How do you think this approach can be further improved in development agencies?
This has to come from different places. There has to be leadership from the top. I mean, I think there's some really good people here, very senior people saying, we need to do this. You need to be able to demonstrate that it can be done. So examples, case studies, but also exchanges, getting people out to see it on the ground. Because you're probably, from what I'm saying, it all sounds terribly abstract and vague. And you've got to get this to a situation where people actually, when they're confronted with a situation, for example, there's a scandal or a crisis, and they're thinking, okay, so what new opportunities have come because this person has resigned, or because this political failure has happened, or because this financial crisis has happened? Let's think about how that changes the politics and power, and whether that will actually advance the kind of work we want to do, or the voices of the kind of people we want to work with. So it's thinking on your feet all the time.